This is one of my all-time favorite Christmas songs amongst many, which I'm going to talk about today on this very special Christmas episode of the Christmas Show. The sample we're going to look at is from Run-DMC. Let's give that a listen first. Now, I love Christmas time, as do many other people. It's a beautiful time of year. If you don't know what Christmas is, that's alright. Let me break it down for you. It's an annual festival celebrating the birth of Jesus Christ, right? And it has a bunch of traditions like giving gifts, singing songs, eating food, drinking pints, and it has amazing music behind it. And that's the exciting bit for me as a general music enthusiast. I get to listen to all sorts of music through Christmas. What I mean is there's genres all over the gaff at Christmas time. Anything modern goes out the window and we listen to all sorts of stuff. And that's the beauty of it, right? Everybody has added songs. Here's Run-DMC's little medley even. That's the beauty of Christmas. There's all these songs in the Christmas sphere that we all suddenly know. So all of a sudden, everyone has the same taste in music and they're all listening to all sorts of types of music. And that's what I want to get into a little bit now, is talk you through some of the multiple genres that have had Christmas songs created during them and have gone on to stand the test of time. The first is, of course, choir music. Choral, whatever you want to call it. This is a song that was originally a Ukrainian folk chant, but became a Christmas hit. Let's take a listen. Beautiful melody, originally from Ukraine, like I said, Slava Ukraini. And this is the John Williams version from Home Alone, one of the, if not the, greatest Christmas soundtracks and movies of all time. There, I said it. What are you going to do about it? And this goes to show that this kind of stuff people will listen to, you know? You'll throw that on and you'll enjoy it because it's Christmassy, right? We move forward a few years. You've got this geezer, Nat King Cole, who puts out this song called the Christmas Song, right? That's how confident he is it's going to be a hit. And it was. Let's listen.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire, Jack Frost nipping at your nose, Yuletide carols being sung by a choir, and folks dressed up like Eskimos.
Even people were dressing up like Eskimos back then, right? I don't know what that was about, but it happened. Doesn't happen much today, I think, but you know, this is a great song, and this is that sort of like jazz, easy listening, the strings, you know, the vocals. And this is a good example of, again, like different genres, different types of music, diversity. Nat King Cole, through his Christmas song, would have been one of the first black artists to be played in white like households on the radio in a very segregated America, right? So fair play to Nat King Cole. And he went on to be one of the first black presenters on TV, right? So Christmas opened up the door. People were like, well, we usually don't listen to like black people, but it's a great Christmas song and we do love Christmas. So, and that's a theme we're going to see. Loads of amazing black musicians and artists contributing to the Christmas sphere, as I like to call it, of this Christmas music, right? So that's Nat King Cole.
Although it's been said many times, many ways, Merry Christmas to you.
Loads of great solos in Christmas songs, and this next one has a great solo too. It is fast forwarding in the Christmas time machine to the 1950s, and swinging early rock stuff was all over the gaff, and Brenda Lee comes out with this banger, which she calls
Rocking around the Christmas tree at the Christmas party hop. Mistletoe hung where you can see every couple tries to stop. Rocking around.
like that. That's a good example now of who listens to that kind of rockabilly swing these days. Not many, some do to be fair, but when it's Christmas time, you chuck that on and you dance around the room with your buddies, drinking and having fun. That's the beauty of it, right? This was a huge hit, and Brenda Lee was only 13 years old when she came out with this one. Like, I know child labor was still happening back then, but fair play to her for making this hit at such a young age, and it's still being strong to this day. Here's that solo. Like, that might be one of the well, many for me, but few for people's solos they just know perfectly, and it comes from Christmas, right? There you go. Now, what also came up around this time was Motown, the Jackson 5. Do you know them? Also, kind of child labor type stuff. It wasn't child labor, it was child stars, you might say. Who knows? But anyway, that was the Motown. They had a great album with particularly their version of Frosty the Snowman and Santa Claus is Coming to Town. But what I want to get into is the funky side of Christmas, and we have to give a shout out to Donny with this song, This Christmas, which is one of my all-time Christmas bangers. Let's give it a listen.
Hang all the mistletoe, I'm gonna get to know you better this Christmas. And as we trim the tree, how much fun it's gonna be together this Christmas. The fireside.
It's an absolute tune from a fantastic musician and singer, Donny Hathaway. He came out with this song, and all these, it's usually originals I'm showing. The reason why a lot of artists started to contribute these songs was to get in on the Christmas business, right? The pesto, the green trees of Christmas, because these hits can make a lot of money, right? Think about it, they get played every year. So if you make it into the Christmas sphere with a new one, you're looking at least $500,000 a year, adjusted or unadjusted for inflation. I don't know. I'm basing that off one song I read about. So there you go. But Donny, amazing voice, like I said, taken from us far too early at a young age, but his legacy lives on through this song amongst others. His daughter as well is putting out tunes. And I gotta give a shout out to the drummer here, Morris Jennings. Absolute funk lord, played with Curtis Mayfield as well, and that's funk, right? James Brown, have to mention, had a great Christmas album as well in the funkosphere, within the Christmas sphere, right? There's different spheres going on. But also in the 70s, across the pond, you had glam rock in the UK, and Wizard had a big hit, as did, I believe, Elton John dabbled, but Slade is who I'm going to play next. You surely know this one. If you don't, that's okay too. You're going to hear it now.
Are you hanging up your stocking on your wall? Are you hanging up your stocking on your wall? Are you hanging up your stocking on your wall? Are you hanging up your stocking on your wall? Are you hanging up?
That is, of course, Are You Hanging Up Your Stocking on Your Wall by Slade. And that is a version of it that I particularly enjoy in my friends. But you get the sound anyway. Glam rock was around and they got stuck in. Next up, you got the 80s. And there is an 80s Christmas song that I know you're going to go ahead and say. We know what it is. I'm going to play it in a second. But before that, you have a little band called the Waitresses, and they released this song. Check it out. It's got one of the best bass lines of all time, Christmas or Not.
Bah humbug, but that's too strong 'cause it is my favorite holiday. But all this year's been a busy.
Great tune, right? Funny story behind this one. It's anti-Christmas, right? You hear there, bah humbug and all that. At the time, they were a new wave band. You can kind of hear that element there, a bit of disco as well around this era, thrown into everything. The label said everyone on the label needs to make a Christmas song. We're doing an album. They were like, no. Label was like, yes. So they wrote this song quickly, threw it down in Electric Lady Studios. Fun fact. And yeah, it didn't blow up that year, but it blew up the following year, I believe. And it's a tune, right? And this is one of those examples of like this kind of era I didn't know much about. I guess my parents wouldn't listen much to it, but I got this Christmas CD one year with the newspaper or something, and I loved this because of the funk of that bass.
Sunburn in the third degree. Now the calendar's just one page. Of course I am excited. Tonight's the night.
I've loved it ever since, and my childhood friend Emilio Brownstein loves that one too. We shared a bond over that as young kids at Christmas time. So the actual 80s song, you know what it's going to be, but I have to play it as an example of synth pop in the 80s. That's right, synthesizers, drum machines, and Mr. Jorge Mihal came out with this with Wham. It's of course Last Christmas.
Last Christmas I gave you my heart, but the very next day you gave it away. This year, to save me from tears, I'll give it to someone special. Last Christmas
And George Michael made that all himself. He wasn't even a trained musician. He just sort of hammered out the synth. For all you synth nerds, yes, it was a Juno 60, fine. And the drum machine, I believe a Linn drum, is what I saw in a YouTube video. At least I saw someone recreating it. But why don't you go look it up? Do some research, post it in the comments and say, Ned, it was actually something else. I don't mind. I love when the community gets involved. Post your favorite Christmas song below. That's what I'm telling you to do now instead of that. But anyway, Wham came out with this one. Again, it's so unequivocally 80s, but yet you hear it at Christmas. If you put on another synth pop song like that, people be like, what are you doing, boy? But this time of year, they're like, oh yeah.
I wrapped it up and sent it with a note saying
It's a very solid part of it, Christmas sphere. And like I said, so many artists are trying to break into that Christmas sphere because of the pesto, but also to get their name out there, right? Loads of people know Wham because of this, way more than their other tunes, I would say. So you got to break in there. I could go on, but I don't have a lot of time. Well, I have as much time as I want, but I usually keep these a certain length, and I want to A few honorable mentions, right? I believe as the Christmas sphere tightens up, it becomes harder for artists to break in. Obviously, the 90s had Mariah Carey, which we all know. After that, a few sort of made it into ones I'd hear regularly. There is Britney has one, All I Want, Just For Me. You have Kelly Clarkson, right, has one, Underneath the Tree, that I believe will go down in history. I believe she broke in. That's a really good song. You're here and the and she's got an amazing voice as well, as does Ariana Grande, whose song Santa, tell me if you're really there. Don't make me fall in love again, 'cause you won't be here next year. The doctor's getting annoyed now that I'm not using him to show the music, but you get it, right? Some, I believe, have crossed into the sphere, but many don't. But there's another way. There's another way to get into the Christmas sphere if you need to, and it's called a Christmas cover, right? All these songs, you can cover them. This time of year, it's okay to cover a song hundreds, if not thousands of times. That's acceptable, and many artists have covered the same song over and over and over. If you look up Wham! Last Christmas now, I guarantee you'll see a list really long of covers. If you look up another Wham! Song, you might see 2 covers. I don't know where you're looking it up, but go ahead, prove me wrong. But anyway, I'm digressing now. I wanted to show some examples of Christmas covers, and I'm hopping the time machine and I'm traveling back to 1824, where a guy in Germany was going through a breakup very similar to George Michael, and he wrote this song called O Tannenbaum. Apparently this song was written about a tree. Oh fir tree, or oh Christmas tree it translates to. And the guy was comparing his ex to a Christmas tree and saying, you weren't faithful, this Christmas tree is more faithful than you. Oh Christmas tree, what a tune. And that was 1824. This recording is from 1907, right? This had been covering it for almost 100 years at this point. Fast forward to 1965, and one of, if not the one of my favorite Christmas albums was dropped. It's of course a Charlie Brown Christmas. I have it right here. This album, folks, I love it because it's a great jazz album by a very talented trio. It has that Christmas mood, that background mood. This is like the OG kind of lo-fi background music people would listen to. And it's just great jazz music, right? It's up there with like Kind of Blue or Brubeck, like Time Out stuff as a jazz staple. And it's also a Christmas staple. What a crossover, right? It's incredible. And you hear it here. This is their version of O Tannenbaum. It's amazing, right? And that's another good example of just like people just listening to jazz because of Christmas. And this album almost didn't make it, right? The creator of Charlie Brown, Mr. I'll put his name down there, loved this music, but the TV execs were like, what's that? That's not Christmassy, that's jazz. No, do something else. And the creator was like, no, Vince and the boys are gonna do the soundtrack. And it became a legendary soundtrack. This version of the vinyl. Look at this, right? This is pretty cool. What I have here, a psychedelic edition. A little bit of damage, right? So I got a good deal on it. I picked it up in a record store in Manhattan, right in the center there. And it was a Christmassy time, so it's special to me. The guy selling it was like, I don't like the choir in that record. I don't think they're very good. I was like, mate, they're kids, right? The whole point is it's for this group. But anyway, let's not get into what that record store clerk said. Let's just note that this is a great album and a great version of Old Tannenbaum. Finally, I got one more cover. This to show is 2008, right? And Neo Soul had kind of dipped a bit, but one of the artists that kept its groove alive was Music Soul Child, who came out with his Christmas album, and he had this cover of it, O Christmas Tree, which is the translation of O Tannenbaum, and he brings a kind of a slow jam, groovy vibe to it, which just again shows how these covers stay alive. Remember now, this is like almost 200 years later, and he's covering it.
Oh, Christmas tree, oh, Christmas tree, thy leaves are so unchanging. Oh, Christmas tree, oh, Christmas tree,
Fair play to Music Soul Child. And the album is called Christmas Music. See what you did there. A great kind of, like contemporary R&B neo soul version of it, which again just proves the point. These covers keep going for Christmas. You can do a Christmas cover. I urge you to go pick up your piano, pick it up, or pick up your guitar, whatever it might be, and do a Christmas cover. It's a lot of fun, right? But we've talked enough about music, and I try to keep it tight, but I guarantee I've gone far over time. Let's get into the samples, shall we? And I'm joined, as always, by the one, the only, the Christmas to my tree, the bauble to my tree, Dr. Sample. Hello, Dr. Sample, how are you?
Hello?
Hello, good to see you. Are you ready to sample?
Hello?
Yes, hello. I know you're ready to sample. And something I wanted to say, to note about this episode, is it's the last in the current season of the show, right? I had a lot of fun doing this show, and I felt like Christmas was a good time to end. I'm about to embark on some travels, but I'll be back, and we got renewed for season 2. Yes, me and the doctor, we're planning on coming back in a while, but we're going to take a break. What do you think, doctor? Do you want to come back, or do you want to just quit?
Thirsty for more.
You hear that? He's
Thirsty for more.
thirsty for more. Well done. All right, so we're going to come back. First of all, let's listen to the song again. It is Run-DMC, Christmas in Hollis, and you got to understand at this time, Run-DMC were more like almost a rock group. They were separating a bit from hip-hop. I feel like hip-hop was seen as not really serious at the time. They had teamed up with a Mr. Rick Rubin, and they had done like Walk This Way and a few others. They were approached, again, similar to the Waitresses, by a label or a producer that was like, we're doing a Christmas album. We really want some hip-hop on it. Are you guys okay to do that? And they were like, no, that's not really our style right now. We don't want to do it. And they were like, come on lads, please. And they were like, no man, that's corny, I think was the words they used. Which to me, the word corny is a bit corny. But anyway, I digress. I used corny. Forget it. What they did was heard the beat. Rick or someone else presented this beat.
When I got home, I bugged, 'cause under the tree was a letter from Santa,
And they were like, you son of a bitch, I'm in. They didn't say it that way, but they got involved, is what I meant. And it became like a classic hit. Lines like this.
Macaroni and cheese, and Santa put gifts under Christmas trees. Decorate the house with lights at night.
It represented, like, again, you have, like I talked about this, like, black music representation. This was a part of it too. The people listen to hip hop were like, yeah, this is what we do at Christmas. This is what's like in Hollis, Queens, New York, a bit northeast. I've only been there once, but it's a cool spot. And yeah, they made this. So the sample comes from a Mr. Clarence Carter, and the song is Backdoor Santa. And it's a classic case of the first thing you hear on the record. Let's play it, and you'll hear that sample straight away.
They call me Backdoor Santa. I make my runs about the break of day. They call me Backdoor Santa. I make my runs about.
It's one of those kind of like soul blues. Clarence Carter, don't know much about. I know he was blind, one of those blind musicians that really just feeds into the music. And I know he was cheeky based on this song about backdoor Santa who sneaks in the back door, does naughty things, right? There's a long history of Santa kind of being like, I don't know, just Santa being whoever for whatever reason, and being sexy or mean or whatever. Santa's just this Christmas character that gets thrown in all sorts of situations, and in this case he sneaks in and cheats or helps people cheat, right? But it's still a banger.
Change in my pocket. Chase the children at home. I give them a few pennies.
Some cool drum breaks, right? But that sample comes right in there at the beginning. Let's bring it in, right? Oops. Let's record it and see what we can do. So, okay. And that loop is what basically inspired the beat of Christmas in Hollis. So what we're going to do is we're going to slow it down. And the other thing that was done was it was pitched, and I know we don't like to pitch on Dr. Sample because he's not great, but we'll try it anyway. So yeah, as you can hear, it's not ideal, but that's generally where they got to. And I have a theory. Let's listen to the instrumental here, and we can get in some of the drums. Let's loop that as well, and we'll match it up for the crack and then see where we are. tough, right? This is one of those times when I can't go that further. I believe what happened was they re-recorded the horns, just like you hear in the intro on Jingle Bells. It's not matching, they re-recorded, but I won't go too far into it. This was more of the history over the sample type shows. I'm sorry if you wanted more SP303 goodness, go back over the channel. But what I would like to say is thank you all for watching this show over the last while, however long you've watched it. If this is your first episode, cool. Go back and check out some of the other ones. I'm going to be off for a while traveling. I'm going back to where me and the doctor first met, Japan. I'm going there for 3 weeks, and then I'll be back in end of January, and we will kick things off with some more. Hope you enjoyed, and have a great Christmas, time off, non-denominational weekend, whatever you're up to. Enjoy it, stay safe, and most importantly, have a good one.